What's up, guys? My name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel and to my family's March budget with me. We are having a baby next month. I can't even believe it. So this is our last budget as a family of four, and I am just excited to meet our son in a few short weeks. So let's take a look at our March budget. We are basically just focused on keeping everything status quo. We are not doing the most right now in our budgeting, and I know that this is not the time in life to be pushing for anything too crazy, but we are still being consistent with tracking our spending, spending thoughtfully, recording every single dollar we spend in a budget, and doing a zero-based budget, which means we allocate every single dollar of income we expect to come in a budget before the month starts so it doesn't go to places that it shouldn't go. By the way, if you like this spreadsheet, you can get it for yourself. It's an instant download to Google Sheets and it comes with a detailed video tutorial. It'll be linked in the video description. All right, so we are budgeting for $10,142 of income in March. So let's break down where that's all going. First of all, for Pay Yourself First, which is investing in long-term savings, we have one line item in this category this year for now, and that is my Roth IRA. We are planning to contribute $200 to my Roth IRA. The maximum for 2025 for anybody under 50, I believe, is $7,000. So obviously, like, this is not gonna get us there if we keep going at this rate. But again, like I said, we're not doing the most right now. We're trying to like be careful, make sure we have enough in our savings, and just make small steps forward. And sometimes small steps forward are better than no steps forward or steps backwards. So I'm trying to focus on the positive and not be too hard on myself that this is going slow this year, but we are still putting something in every single month to investing from our net income. So $200 this month to my Roth IRA. Next, we've got my husband's student loan, which is our last debt on our debt-free journey besides our mortgage. Like, all of our non-mortgage debt is paid off besides my husband's student loan. And I am just reflecting a lot because 5 years ago, right before my first daughter was born, we had $30,000 of credit card debt and like a million other debts. It was insane. Car loans, student loans. It was just a lot, and we were super stressed financially. So compared to then, like, we have made so much progress now that this is our only debt besides our mortgage, and the interest rate on this debt is 2.8%. And so I remember back when my daughter was born, we were paying like almost $2,000 a month just in interest on our debts. And now this debt, because the interest rate's so low and the balance is not too bad at this point, it's under $60,000 when it started out at 120,000. So the interest we're paying each month on this loan is, I think, about $125 at this point. So from $2,000 in interest to $125, like, that is huge, massive progress and has made such a difference in our financial life. And so I'm trying to remember all those things instead of thinking about like what we're not doing, trying to think of like all we've done and be excited and happy for where we're at rather than just like always feeling like it's not enough. All right, so looking at our monthly expenses, our mortgage is $4,300, and that is including taxes and insurance. And then for life insurance for myself and my husband, that is $105 a month. We each have term policies, and I got mine through Policy Genius, which was really simple and easy, and I'll link them below if you want to use them as well. For internet and cell phone, it's a total of $115. Oh, I have an interesting story about our internet. We've been having problems with our internet since we moved into this house, with it like dropping off, and my husband works from home, so obviously like Zoom calls and webinars and stuff that he does, like, we need good internet. Like, it wasn't that bad when we first moved in, but it's been getting worse throughout this winter. So I called Xfinity and I was like, I want to get somebody out here to look at it, and they're like, well, why don't you just get a booster, and you can have a little booster in your husband's office and that'll like ping the internet to the booster so he'll get better service in there. And I was like, yeah, but like, I don't know if that's the problem. And they're like, well, it's free. I'm like, oh, free, okay, well, like, but will our bill go up? And they were like, well, let me look into it. And then after being on hold for 5 minutes, she came back and she's like, yeah, the little booster thing is free, but then your bill's going to go up $10 a month. I'm like, okay, so the booster costs $120 a year. It's not free. And I was like, but I don't want that. I want somebody to come to my house and check out the internet. So they were able to get somebody out within a few days. The guy came, he checked out the cable that was running into our home, and he said that that cable was filled with ice and water, and that's why we're losing internet. And so he replaced the cable, and now our internet's perfect, and our bill didn't change, and they didn't charge us because that was like a issue on their end that they're responsible for maintaining, not something that we need to do differently. So I was really glad that I pushed for that and didn't just go with the booster thing, because we would have been paying more and it wouldn't have fixed the problem. And it was just so nice to have somebody come to your house and fix something and not get a bill at the end of it. Like, that's, as a homeowner, you always get a bill when something gets fixed to your house, but for this, Xfinity fixed it, and they had to pay for the cost, or like absorb the cost of that repair, because it was an external thing, like for the cable running into our home. And he did confirm that the place where our modem is hooked up is the only place where the cable is active, or the internet is active, or whatever. And so all the other cables throughout our home are not hooked up to anything, so I can like pull all those and get rid of them, and that is good to know too. So I know I'm not like messing anything up, knowing those are all disconnected cords, just old remnants of pre-Wi-Fi days, because our house is from the 90s. So just want to share that story with you guys, because if you have internet problems, maybe like start with them looking into things on their end before you start paying extra fees to like boost your internet. Oh my gosh, I am 7 months pregnant and so out of breath all the time. So I'm going to try to catch my breath here before I keep going with the budget. All right, car insurance for our 2 cars is $127 a month. Our cars are both at this point over 10 years old, so that's why it's pretty low. And hopefully they'll each last for like another like 3 to 5 years. That would be great. Utilities, I have budgeted $450. Hopefully this is enough. I feel like in February to March, the weather starts warming up, or it does start warming up, and so hopefully our house won't be like using as much energy to get heated, and this will be enough to cover our utilities. I mentioned in another video, I might start doing this as a sinking fund at some point. I don't know. I kind of don't want to switch it all around, but just to like kind of normalize the budget a bit. But for now, I'm just coming up with these numbers, looking at our 2024 budget and what we spent on utilities last year, and using that to like estimate what we're going to pay this year. All right, groceries and takeout, we're doing our normal $300 a week, and then $200 for household. For gas, we've budgeted $175, and then for miscellaneous, I've budgeted $40, because there's always something miscellaneous that comes up, so I like to always have that in our budget to catch those expenses. All right, and finally taking a look at our sinking funds. So for my husband, myself, and my soon-to-be 3 kids, we have budgeted $100 each for personal spending. We sometimes spend this money in full, we sometimes don't spend much of it and let it build up. For myself, this is where like any clothes, makeup, anything like that, Starbucks that I get comes out of. And then for my kids, a lot of this is clothes or toys or random stuff, like if I got my daughter like a new bag for ballet or something like that. So that's where all of that comes out of. And then for school and activities, we are budgeting $250. And then for gifts, we have budgeted $50. For birthdays and Christmas, we're budgeting $200. I'm really glad that we've been doing this Christmas and birthday sinking fund for the last several years. It's just nice to like save money all year long for these things that we know are going to come up, and that way by the time my kids' birthdays and Christmas comes around, we are not scrambling to find money to pay for those things. For car maintenance, we've budgeted $100, and then for home maintenance, we've budgeted our normal $500. I always say I hope this builds up and we have a few $1,000s in here, but so far we have pretty much spent it, not every single month, but like we won't spend anything for a few months, and then we'll have a $1,500 expense, and then it goes back down to like just a few $100 in the sinking fund. So one day I will say we have $5,000 in our home maintenance fund, and it'll be a day to celebrate. And then finally, we are putting $800 into a medical sinking fund this month because we're going to get a large medical bill next month, or probably it'll trickle in over the summer after like insurance has processed everything. But we are preparing for large medical bills from having a baby. We are going to hit our max out of pocket of $9,000, I expect, and we already are at like 2,000 or so we've only got another 7,000 to go until we hit it. But we definitely need to like, I remember last time we went in to give birth, the hospital made us give a deposit of like $1,000 or $1,500 or something. So I've been putting money into this medical sinking fund over the past several months to have enough so we can like give that deposit when we go in next month to have our baby. So that is it for our March budget. I can't believe this is the last budget before we are a family of 5. I'm just so excited, and I'm just trying to like stay focused. My brain is literally mush. I can barely think straight at this point, and I'm not sleeping and everything hurts, but we are pushing through. We are still budgeting. We are always budgeting no matter what through all of life's stuff, and that consistency is what has allowed us to make so much progress as a family over the past 5 years. Some months are faster, some are slower, but every single month we march forward, paying down our debt, putting money into saving and investing, and keeping our expenses at a minimum. As I mentioned before, if you like this spreadsheet, it is linked in the video description. You can get it for yourself. It's an instant download to Google Sheets, so you can start budgeting right now if you want us to get started, and it does come with a detailed video tutorial. I rarely get any questions on the spreadsheet, so if you're not comfortable with spreadsheets and you've never worked with one before, you can watch this tutorial before you even buy it if you want, so you can see if it seems like something you'd feel comfortable using. It's really, really user-friendly. As always, if you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and I'll talk to you guys soon in the next one. Bye!